Hiya, this is Adanas Essence. Today I'll be showing you how I make our body scrub. That is this sea salt and sugar body scrub. Before I started the video, I melted some of my organic cocoa butter. I'm going to place the rest of these in there, yeah, because I melted it a little bit too much. And then all I do is I use the whisk and whisk up what's left in there. Yeah, so I use the whisk. And just whisk it a little bit. Because what I want it to do is become creamy and not all the way oily. So by putting back some of the hard parts of it, the pure part, I can now whisk it and hopefully get it into my normal texture of a creamy substance. So, may take a little bit. So I started using these products on my skin because I have eczema, and you know, sometimes especially during lockdown, I couldn't find any like organic places that was open, or ones that I can purely say was organic. So I decided that, you know, I would start making the face scrub for my body to help exfoliate my body and my face after work. All of my other products are based on ones that I use for my family and myself. That is worked, especially the oil that I'm going to make a little bit later on in the video. So you can see I am still just trying to get the rest of this smooth. And obviously, like most butter, when you melt it, it will be more. See the substance coming? It will be more runny. But that'll be fine because I've got other products. There's other parts to this that makes it a little bit easier to do. Alright, so just going to beat it down. And all of our products are handmade and used within the family, so are proven to work. So, I may go a bit quiet during my video. It takes a lot to make some of these products. So give me a second. See? And as I beat it, it becomes more creamy, more of a creamy substance than it is how we first started. And one of the reasons why I melt it is because if you look at the natural organic cocoa, it is quite hard. Yeah? So this is one of the reasons why I melt it first and then hand whip it afterwards. So I've still got some chunky bits in there that I'm trying to whip out, but you can see it's turning into a more of a creamy substance than the oil we saw a minute ago. So let's do this. There we go. So I'm going to let that settle for a little bit, but while I have that in there, what I am going to do is get all my essential oils ready. Yeah, so bear with me. Okay, so I keep my essential oils in this little tin here. that these are oils all organic that I use in my products. So I've got organic hemp oil that I'll be using. Yeah. So I pour out half, a little bit, not too much, of the hemp oil, because there's other oils going into this product. So about that much hemp oil I use. I like to give it a lot, you know, like be very generous with it. And then this is a vitamin D, natural vitamin E. Vitamin D is another one. And as this is going on the face, I use rosehip oil, natural rosehip oil. So you can get the rosehip oil and it will have one of these, but I like to measure it with by eye. Right, and then that's all my oils in there together. One of the reasons why I do it like that is because if I need to change how thick my mixture is, I will use it and measure out the oil. Most of this oil will be going into it, which is quite a lot anyway. And as you can see, the coconut oil is quite oily within itself anyway. And I'm also going to use some shea butter as well into the mix. So in this bag here, I also have sea salt and brown sugar. So normally I would mix it, and then I will pound it together to get the sea salt, because the sea salt grains are quite grainy. I can show you what they look like. So if I take a bag, it's quite thick, it's quite coarse. So this is what the sea salt grains look like that I use, the natural organic sea salt. It's dead sea salt, by the way, and they're quite thick. So I like to put them in a pounder and just pound them down. So this is something I did a little bit earlier with brown sugar in it. And that will go into my scrub. So I'll leave this to sit for a little bit. As you can see, the more I whisk, the thicker it gets. Yeah, so it's coming back to a thicker substance. Nice creamy thick substance here. As I whisk it up. So this product I use on my skin, and it really replenishes the moisture and the minerals that when you wash your body, it gets rid of. When you wash your body with soap, that it gets rid of. So here we go. There's still a little bit on there, as you can see. Trying to get rid of this little bit here. Always gives me a little bit of trouble. This is one of the reasons why I whisk. I don't want no lumps in my products. So just whisk it up a little bit more. It will look like, it should be the substance of like when you scramble an egg. Yeah? With no bits in it. that's the finished substance. And that, alright, so I leave that there for a little bit, and then I will start on my cocoa butter. So let's just leave that. So once I've done the cocoa butter, now all I need to do is get the other part of the ingredients, which is my shea butter. Now, I used to hand whip it using that whisk there, but it took a lot out of me. So, and as you can see, this is my shea butter, my organic shea butter. So you can see it's not as tough or hard as that one, but it's still a piece of work. Okay, so this is my trusty spoon. I always have this spoon on me. This is my spoon I use. So I will always measure out my substance. This is, so let's see. And it's quite a rich product. Like, it does so much for your skin, hydrates it. I use it in the mornings when going to work as a face scrub. When I come home from work, I will have a shower with my normal bath or bubble bath soap, and then afterwards, while my skin is still wet, I will rub some of it in to my skin, all over my skin, and just get it to, you know, moisturize back my skin. Then I wash off with warm water. So I wash off any excess salt that may be still on my skin and sugar, and then I just use a cloth to just dab my body. Yeah, so this is going to get a bit noisy in here because I now have to use the hand whisk because there's no way I can do this without the hand whisk. Well, I can, but it's proven to be a kind of harder method, and when you're making a lot of products in one day, it can take it out of you. So that's how much I put in there. Yeah, and then I'm going to whisk this up to make it a little bit softer, like when you're making only to make it a little bit softer. So that will be about it. So that would be it. So what I will do now is use the hand whisk, because I've gotten it as soft as I need it. So now I can actually do the hand whisking. I'm not using it to make the product. I'm just using it I just use it to soften it up. So then you see, it's more like that. Yeah? Sorry, things that might be in the way. So I carry on hand whipping it. This beats going to the gym. Okay. And I like to make authentic stuff and products, you know, for myself and for my clients, anyone that's ordered from us. And this is how every product is made. Yeah. Outside is pretty wet right now, so it's quite a good thing I'm doing this right now. So what I do is, from in this tin, I start to add the oils. So I add a little bit first. just to make it soft. Alright. So I incorporate most of it in that. I pour some in here to keep it from going hard, because butter likes to go hard. So right. Okay. Put a little bit more in here. In fact, I'll just pour the rest of it in here. Alright. So as you can see, and the more oil I put in there, the better it looks as a product. Yeah. So, I'm going to I also make our, see, it's nice and creamy. I make our other our body shea butter, whipped shea butter, exactly like this, except for I don't use cocoa butter in it. So this is the exact same method, and it's exact same consistency when I make my whipped shea butter. Yeah, all by hand. Alright, so it looks like that. So what I do next is, because I want it to go, I want the salt and the sugar to be all the way through the product. I pour all of the sugar and salt, sea salt that was in this bag, and I use this and mix it. Yeah, so it's all the way through the product. This has cooled down now, so what you'll find is most of it will melt into it, but I'll still have the salt particles. So then, to keep it as a little bit rough, well, a little bit more for scrub, I will add a little bit of the hard, the non-martyred ones in. Yeah, so just a handful, because I don't want it to be too harsh on my client's skin. Then I'll mix it through like that, getting any bits that's not already melted. Sometimes you'll find a big piece of the, no matter how much I've whipped, I'll find a big piece of, like, chunks of the cocoa butter, which is really annoying. So that's what it looks like when it's done, and most that you see is the big chunk of the sea salt and the sugar, which I want it to stick, and I want it to be like that anyway. So then what I do is I introduce the whipped shea butter gently into it. Yeah, it's like baking a cake. I like to say, this is what happens when I bake a cake. Except for I'm baking a face mask. Right, so I put some of it in there, and I just gently whisk it. Yeah. Because I want to incorporate all of the sugar and everything in there. And it's pretty creamy actually. You get a pretty creamy substance like that. Yeah? So that's my body scrub. I'm going to put the rest of this in there, and the more I add in there, the creamier it gets and the thicker it gets, which is what I'm going for. Yeah. This is where I need to get my spoon again, because this is not scraping out all of the butter out of it. So get my trusty spoon. It's like I said, it's like baking a cake. To get all the goodness of the shea butter also in there. Right. Hand whisk, hand whisk, hand whisk. When it hardens, because it will solidify a little bit more, it becomes a nice creamy substance. So, and the more I whisk it, the creamier it becomes. Look, the more I whisk, the creamier it becomes. Okay. Now, so at this point I'll put this back in there, because I want to mix it to make sure all the sugar, you see, all the sugar and the sea salt is all incorporated all the way through. Very good. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to have to wipe this bottle off. So this is our 200 container, yeah, from the brand. So then I just scoop it in there. Let's fill that up. I like to make sure I get as much of it in there as possible. Okay. And that's the finished product. Yeah, all that creamily loveliness. Yeah, and that's it. All ready for my client.